Welcome back to another MotoVagabond how-to video. In this week's video, we're going to do installation of auxiliary lights. I had a request from Opie to show how I installed these auxiliary lights on our 2019 BMW G310GS. We're going to start with disassembling the machine and getting access to where we can run our wiring. So if you want to slide back to my last video of how-to for the G310GS air cleaner replacement, that'll give you all the dirty details. I'm just going to get down to business on this and show you the meat and potatoes of what we did underneath the bodywork to install our auxiliary lights. Now that we peeled away the tank cover, we're going to go over what we need. We're going to need lights, which are my Handsters I have here at LED. We have the light mounting assembly and the Givi brackets that mount them underneath the fender. We're also going to need an on-off switch, and I run all of this off the junction box. Don't forget, we'll need extra wire and wire loom to keep it pretty.
I use a junction box for all of my auxiliary equipment. This eliminates me tapping into the main wiring harness and to have simple diagnostics for any of my auxiliary equipment. I run my auxiliary lights, navigation system, an auxiliary plug, and my heated vest plug off of this junction box. It's a simple connection from the main battery with a positive cable and a negative cable. Mounting the LED Handster auxiliary lights to the mounting brackets and the mounting brackets to the Givi mounts is pretty self-explanatory. One change I made was Givi supplies you with a 4mm Allen, and I upgraded it to a 5mm Allen to eliminate having one extra Allen key on the bike. Now that our mounting brackets are installed and our lights are in place, we need to install the handlebar switch in a convenient location on the left side of the handlebar. With the junction box installed, the lights in place, and the switch in place, we know how much wire lead we have from each of these components and what it will take to wire it from those components back to the junction box. The switch I purchased came with a great wiring diagram and also already had an inline fuse and relay, so it was a pretty easy hookup. Let's go over the details. We've installed a junction box, so our positive and negative will start there. The positive and negative cables will run to the supplied relay. I mounted that under the left side cover of my motorcycle. Then I extended the leads from the relay to the on-off switch and to the LED lights themselves. And finally we beautify this with some wire loom. And boom, we got auxiliary lights. Not necessary, but I took the extra step of adding a rocker switch to my junction box so I can cut it on and off at will.
Now that we have our auxiliary lights all wired up and installed, go back to the how-to video if you need to for reassembly. Get your G310GS back in operating order, and stay tuned for next week's MotoVagabond how-to. Packing for a cross-country trip. I'll be doing that one on site.